Wait, no, I'm not.
I have something to say.
Hi, I'm back. I would ask if you missed me, but some people, some nefarious souls, came in and pirated my channel while I was away. And they did things here. It was all a mess when I got back. By mess, I mean somebody had tidied up and added things that actually make my life easier. And I'm just like, whatever. But I'm back now. And we are going to be doing so many things because I've got so much work to do. Isn't it even funny? It was not really a vacation. It was I have to learn how to do things. And that was fun. And now they've changed to the app that I was learning how to use. So I'm going to have to learn it all over again, but without taking time off. So, yay. But before I continue to ramble on, because I am very prone to doing that, I will introduce the Marauders, the Not Charlie's Angels that came in and took over this channel in my absence and continued doing things while I was not here. We're joined by Megan, Kat, Laura, and the most nefarious of them all, Carrie. Oh my goodness. So, how has everybody been? I've been mostly kind of disappeared for a while. Again, feeling like I'm just treading water. Just treading water. I now know how to use Descript very, very well, and all that is changing. So, time well spent. Time well spent.
But you were very productive.
I was. I actually got quite a bit done. I finished a 3D model for the ship that for the hero ship in my setting, if I can get things to cooperate. And I'm very excited because now I can set it up from whatever angle I want and take of the pictures. It is there. There we go. Named by the wonderful Maggie, the Salty Titan lives in beautiful 3D glory. I don't have any of the full 3D renders up here because I'm using them for other things. This image here is actually based off of one of the renders of it in profile. We get to see it here in the top, bottom, side, and front view. I am so excited about this. I love my ship. I even remember to put in all the little things like where the thrusters are.
I've got to say, it kind of reminds me of an old-fashioned telephone with a little dial in the center.
A little bit. I had a very brief description from the book.
I like to think
that I ended up turning into this thing. I, of course, also went through the obnoxious business of naming everything. So all the little parts, what companies made them, where they came from, what they're called. Because I love tech manuals. I'm annoying that way. But because I knew that this was a deck, this wing-sized here was a deck, I was able to do the math, and I know the actual size of the ship, which makes me very, very excited. It's basically roughly the size of Serenity from Firefly, about twice the size of the Millennium Falcon, and half the size of the Defiant, which is fine. My biggest problem was, is it too big to land? Is it too big to... Well, Serenity lands. It's fine. It's fine. It's basically a flying 4-story building. So
Oh, look, there's a link in the chat.
but I'm very excited. That was one of the other things that I was doing this week that I was away because I wanted to have that, and that's led to all kinds of other things. Like I'm actually doing the deck plans for the ship, so I will actually know where everything is and not keep changing where people's bedrooms are and other such things, which has been problems for editing me in the future, in the past, because I would just be like, I'll remember that, and I'm terrible at making maps. And no, I never remember, and have to like codify it and then fix it in the entire book. So I actually have a full-on deck plan that is being done up for it that will eventually make its way onto the article. But in an attempt to not spend all of my time doing that, I'm only putting things onto it as they become relevant in story. I can figure out the rest of everything later. But I'm very excited. What have y'all been up to?
I have been working on the feminist anthology We Will Not Go Back, getting that set up, and then working on my essay, which has been more difficult than I thought it would be. So I'm a little stuck in the beginning, the middle, and the end. So
I know this feeling. And for anybody who doesn't know about that,
We Will Not Go Back, an AuthorTube video anthology coming August 9th, 2022. Submissions due August 8th. We want your feminist works of fiction, nonfiction, and poetry. Learn more about the anthology or contact Megan McCarthy for access to the Discord by going to linktr.ee/Megan_McCarthy.
and while I'm thinking about it, I have opened Nightbot, and I am going to create a Nightbot shortcut so that it's not going to help on the YouTube, because for some reason my Nightbot will not work on YouTube. But since 2 of my 3 streams are over on Twitch, it should work over there. So there we go. I'm excited about this. I can't wait to take part in it. Also, for anybody who is like, I don't know if I have a feminist work in me, but I have a super, super queer one. We are now doing the Pride and Prejudice anthology quarterly. So if you want to get into the fall edition, definitely get in touch with me and we'll figure something out, because I'm very excited about that. Or if you want like a long term, like I don't know if I have something that I can do in 3 months, but maybe in the longer term I could do something. I kind of want to do a Christmas special playlist because our December one will be coming out around Christmas, around the holidays. And I like the idea of a queer Christmas special just because I think that's hilarious. So if you would like to
Please just call it a queer Christmas.
So have fun with that if that helps with any of your imaginations, because I'm really looking forward to that, and I want it to be as bizarre and wonderful as it can be. Like, if only I could find somebody that could animate me as a dancing Bea Arthur, there would definitely be a musical number. Let's quickly say hello to the chat before I forget, because I do want to do the sprints today. Hello, Jenna, the Soul Writer. How are you doing today? I hope everything is well. Carrie in there doing the double duty, as is Kat, because I like saying the double duty because I is child.
Toilet paper.
Hello, CB. Hopefully you are back.
The takeover thing started, and you were like, "Wait a minute!"
I thought that would be funny. I don't know if it actually was or not.
It was very funny.
I thought it was funny.
I was cracking up.
Hello,
I can see everyone cracking up pretty much.
I was disappointed that it didn't show up on my like, it was such a delay from my view of the stream, the first thing I saw was the World Anvil ad, and I'm like,
Oh
but I saw it live. So.
no! I thought it would be a funny.
You wanted to see it twice.
My sense of humor
that is
is
the advantage of the little bit of a delay here.
the universe. See,
Like
this is
Thursday when when the game stream is going on. If I miss something, like a troll attack, on like Brian or something, like what I miss.
Yeah, this is where I don't think you meant to be like right where my headspace is, Tom, but like, so the project that I'm currently working on is writing a cosmogonic myth out of the actual physics of the Big Bang, and like applying mythic language to it as like as the origin story of the universe. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been very challenging. I have yet to use the word hydrogen, and I'm very proud of myself. I have used the word homeostasis once. Hello, Maggie. How are you doing today? Yeah. Migraines are the worst. I am glad that I inherited the second type that runs in my family, where they were really bad through my 20s and disappeared in my 30s. Knock wood. Where's wood? Your wood. And hopefully they will not come back, because I have haunting memories.
Me too. They're.
My mom used to get migraines, and I'm just like waiting for the day when I start getting migraines. I'm like, it could happen anytime.
My sister used to taunt me with, "One day this will be you," and because she and I have a very special relationship, the day of my first migraine, she literally came into my room, banged on a pot for a little bit, and went, "You're welcome. Now you know," and walked out. And then got me a cold compress for my head and some nice soothing tea to calm me down. But she had to stab before she could heal, and that is very much our relationship. And
It was probably
very
payback.
The migraines run in my dad's family. I think my grandmother might have had them when she was younger. My dad had them. My sister still goes through them. And one of the things that slightly alleviated it was my sister keeping her hair short, because her hair is so thick. And I don't know if maybe like my grandmother didn't remember going through the headache phase, or maybe it skipped her. I don't know. But she would cry every time my sister wanted her hair cut. "You have such beautiful hair." She's like, "I want to be able to function and not throw up."
My hair has turned into lamb's wool today, and I cannot do anything with it. Nothing that I do will make it down. So, like, if I lean forward, you can see all. There are days when I just want to shave my head, and then I know that I cannot do that because, like Samson, all that is good in me is in my hair. Unfortunately, unlike Samson, that's not strength; it's all of the kindness. I am a mean, terrible monster human without the long hair. Hopefully, you never see this. This is why I'm forbidden from cutting my hair.
Now that I think about it, my head has been hurting a lot less since my hair started falling out. Because I've been losing like fistfuls of hair. Especially like when I wash it.
Mhm.
Like this morning I went like this in the shower, and I was like,
That happens when I don't take my thyroid meds.
well, apparently a side effect of both my meds at the dosage I have to take is hair loss. But it's not a common one.
That sucks.
Plus, like, I'm also probably catching up to my hair is probably finally reacting to all the stress I was under and the fact that I was borderline malnourished.
Mm-hmm.
My hair is finally like, I'm just gonna come out right now. I'm just like, but couldn't you stay for a little bit? I'm not conceited about a lot of things, but my hair, a little conceited about it.
I'm not conceited about a lot of things, but my World Anvil site is actually one of them. And thank you for saying nice things about it, because I put way too much effort. Like, I admit this. There's too much art that goes into making like stupid, dumb articles about like a rock that no one will ever read. But I do it anyway. Yeah, I'm so excited for the stats. They make me ever so happy. I'm one of those people that buys, like, if you put out a tech manual, like, if you want to make more money off of me, first write a sci-fi series that gets my attention, then create tech manuals. I will buy them because I have a problem. I will memorize the stats. I know how the freaking warp drive works, and it doesn't exist because I have read so many of these over the years. I got so obsessed with this, I actually became friends with Michael Okuda for a while because he wrote them and was hanging at the conventions, and I was like, oh, that's Michael Okuda, and I was like so starstruck, and he was just like, you know who I am? I'm like, you wrote the tech manuals! And he was like, okay, kid, it's fine. I think it was more like, I thought he was my friend, and he was just making sure that this weird autistic child that was obsessed with tech manuals didn't get hurt at the convention. Like, I think that was more our relationship. But
I had tossed around like making journals and like decorating them to look like the spell books that my characters have.
Ooh, I like that
that's the thing
idea.
to do.
I actually started in Canva Lavinia's childhood journal that like basically was gonna have the entries of her being like, why the hell, what am I supposed to do with this thing? And then like, so it's just very sporadic over the years.
I would probably keep it,
and then it gets to her
blank,
turning
but...
it into her grimoire. From there, like all of her research that she's doing on like shadow travel, and some of her case notes might be in it, and she has references and screenshots of, or like pictures in there of like classified of spell books that only Shadow has access to anymore because everyone thinks they're destroyed.
That's another way to get my money. I may have like a copy of all of Harry's class books that She Who Shall Not Be Named published, that with all of the liner notes that he, Ron, and Hermione made in them, because oh my goodness, they're hilarious and really, really funny. And why did you have to be a TERF? I also have a copy of the Book of Sith with Palpatine's really bitchy liner notes in there where he's like crossed out sections and is like, actually, this is the way the dark side really works. Like, it's hilarious. It is one of the funniest Star Wars books ever put out, because there's nothing like imagining like young evil Sheev Palpatine just sitting there going, I know better than the writer of this book. Like, just, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, I will buy all of those. And yeah, we actually discussed that while coming up with this. And I was like, yeah, but it looks really weird landing. It's like Voyager landing. It looks weird. Like, it's a big freaking ship. Plus, nobody realizes how big these the ships in Star Trek are. Like, the Enterprise D, the one from the TV show, The Next Generation, is 1 kilometer long. From tip to tail, it's 1 kilometer long, and it's 2 kilometers across. It is a giant, giant ship. And
how does it even get around?
That's why they have the turbo lifts, and why they take the turbo lifts everywhere instead of walking. And that's also why they never see anybody in the hallway, because it's a freaking ship that's the size of a city that has like 1,000 people in it. Which is why they never run into people in the hallways, because it's gigantic. Because not only is it that big, but then it has something like, what, 27 decks? Or something like that is the breakdown? Like, it's huge. Yeah, so like 1 by 2 kilometer on top of itself. Like, it's huge. It's huge. This E.C. Henry has a really wonderful video where he tries to get people to understand exactly how big the Enterprise is. And for reference, he makes to scale humans and puts the crew complement of the Enterprise standing on the hull of the Enterprise and then zooms out. It's like, everybody on the ship can fit in this one little section, and they're not even crammed in. Like, tiny section. Like, you can't even see them at distance. There they are. Now they're gone. There they are. Now they're gone. It's a huge ship. because nobody like picked up on the like leave us 5 kilometers away from this other ship, and then you see them and they look like they're like this. Yes, because this is a kilometer-sized ship, this is a kilometer-sized ship, and there are 5 kilometers in between them. They're big freaking ships.
Hi, Eva.
They shouldn't be able to land. I'm sorry. Their ship's a kilometer in length. They should not be able to land. Hello, Rachel. How are you doing? We will be doing sprints, I promise. I'm just very excited to be back and doing all of the chitty chats. And hello, Eva.
Guess what I woke up to this morning?
Ugh.
What?
I sold my story.
Yes, I saw. I'm so excited for you.
Tentacles and Boomboxes will be in Lovecraftiana Walpurgis Nacht, spring 2023.
Woo!
Is
Awesome.
Yay!
Yeah.
Excellent news.
I feel like, Laura, you of all people should have a Valpurgis Nacht stream.
What is that?
Well, Saint Valpurga was a German medieval saint that was invoked against witches. So it was believed on the eve of Walpurgisnacht, all of the witches would gather on the mountains to do their nefarious things before the saint was invoked to scare them back into the shadows. Like, they've had an entire year to gain their evil, dark powers, and they would all gather together and summon demons and all kinds of crazy madness. And then the next day, people would like pray to the saint, and they'd all have to run back to the shadows.
So it's like Night on Bald Mountain in Fantasia.
That is yes. That is meant to take place on Walpurgisnacht. That was the original idea behind it. Yeah. And the story of Saint Valpurga is weird. Like, if you're not familiar with medieval saint legends and you're looking for story ideas, just Google medieval saints and have fun with that. My personal favorite one, which while I can't prove is the like origin story for the crow, is a saint that was killed in a chapel because somebody wanted to steal all the gold, and then ravens started haunting the thieves and attacking them by day and by night, and they couldn't get away from the ravens. They kept attacking them, and they returned all of their stolen goods and said, please make the ravens stop. And then they told their story, and they were like, huh, I guess the guy that you killed is in good with God. Saint. Like, medieval saint stories are incredible and bizarre. They're
That or
wonderful.
those ravens thought that stuff belonged to them.
Chinese, mine.
Mine.
So
They're just...
Hi,
This is-
Spence.
this is going to be my second story in Lovecraftiana. My first one comes out at the end of this month on the
Ooh.
31st.
Ooh, yay.
It's my flash piece, The Boy in the Wallpaper.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
That one is the Victorian England. The old man is being put away up in the nursery attic so he doesn't taint the children with his strange tales. And the night that he knows he's going to die, the light goes away and the boy in the wallpaper illustration peels off the wall and comes to take him.
Nice.
And it's quite tentacly.
And that is so true. They because everybody goes to like classical myth or all the like the medieval stories are amazing in so many ways. Like Saint Christopher, the original OG Saint Christopher was a giant with the head of a dog, y'all. That's not a kid on his shoulder. That's a full-grown human that he would pick up and walk them across the river. Like, these stories are amazing, and there's so many cynocephalus stories of the dog-faced people. Like, it's insane. It is. Medieval stories are incredible.
Y'all got any book recommendations for me to learn about some saints? I was telling Megan earlier that because I keep getting these video recommendations, and of course I'm watching them because I enjoy them. Leah Remy talking about like exposing Scientology. And I'm just like, I kind of want to like read this stuff about Scientology because now I want to know.
Oh, I've read Dianetics because I mean I had to. Like you know my problems.
Also, like,
Science fiction, religion, fascinated.
I
Have to read this.
realize that it was founded by just a science fiction author, and I'm like,
Oh yeah, you
I
did
kind
know
of want
that.
to read. Yeah, I never.
I've
Why
read
did
some
you
of his books. They're kind of weird.
Yeah, but I'm just like, I kind of want to read some of his books. I'm like, sir,
You can find them free online. And
Mm-hmm.
It's really easy and
Well, I cannot prove that L. Ron Hubbard had a cocaine problem. He was known to sell books that he had not written yet, lock himself in a hotel room, and write 50,000 words overnight.
yeah, that man
Holy
is
crap.
doing cocaine probably.
hell?
Like I cannot prove that he had
Unreasonable.
a drug problem, but he did this a lot throughout his life, where he would be out to dinner with an editor. They'd be like, "Oh, it'd be wonderful if we had a book, blah 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 blah," and he would just disappear for a day and come back with a manuscript for the book that they were talking about.
So jealous of.
And
I'm slightly jealous and also very concerned.
yeah, which is why when you look at his like list of books, like he was a very prolific writer.
Extremely
And-
prolific writer. Yeah.
And I don't know if he was just really good at the stream of consciousness and just did it, or I don't know. Like nobody ever saw him write, but I don't know. He could have had a sweatshop of writers like banging away in the hotel room that he just went in there and like cracked a whip. Like, I need a story about this. I don't know. I don't know how he did it, but it's insane how much he wrote.
Oh, but I was also telling Megan how, because I'm just really interested. Like, I kind of want to find just a bunch of books about a bunch of different religions and just like, and just next religion, just because I find them all so fascinating.
Mhm.
I cannot remember the name of the book, but the weirdest of these things was when Dianetics came out. Piers Anthony could not believe how well it was selling and went, okay, I guess anybody can do this. And he wrote his own, like, I'm going to start a science fiction religion book. I
Mhm.
used to have a copy of it. It is the most, like, if you've ever read Xanth, you know how messed up Piers Anthony's imagination is. It's that, the religion. So if anybody can, if you ever find that or find out what it's called, it is not on his Wikipedia page. I have looked. I have not found record of this. I feel like it's the Star Wars Christmas special of Piers Anthony lore. Like it has been erased from existence. My copy disappeared in the first Great Pilfering. And for all I know, it was somebody else's work that they just attributed to him. I do not know, but I know that this book existed. I had it, I read it, it got stolen from me, and I would love to get it back. Alrighty, we have been chatting for a while, and I have homework. I have homework. What needs to be done?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I
If you insist.
I finally finished my candle Banshee's Flight.
Ooh.
I
ooh,
started
My
burning
Woodwick.
the other day. I burned from Briarwick. I have Reading in Rain. It
Ooh.
smells like soap. When it like it doesn't when you smell the candle, but when it's burning, it smells like good soap.
I really
It
want
smells
to
very
bring.
clean.
I would really love to bring somebody out here who understands how scent works and like could devise like, okay, you mix these oils together to make this smell, because there's a certain scent outside in the summer after a thunderstorm that I would love to have as a candle.
Ozone?
Because well, I mean, there's a hint of that, but because of all of the honeysuckle and stuff around here, there's this like sweet honeysuckle in the background mixed with some of the other wildflowers. That it's like this very like clean. It is the cleanest smell I've ever smelled in my life. Like I don't like going outside. I do not like the thunderstorms around here, but I will run outside every time in the summer after a thunderstorm just to breathe deeply and relax in that glorious, glorious aroma. It smells so good. It's so good. but I don't know enough about how to mix stuff to make it. My niece
I
might
hear
be.
it's called Sacrifice. Could be worth a try.
My-
Sacrifice to the gods.
My instinct was to say, of course you're recommending that.
Alrighty, so I have brought up a monster timer for us, and there are a bunch of cinematic monsters on here, including two Georges, but I don't see a Kong, which is weird. Like you think it would
I'm a
exhaust all the ones
choose-
There he is.
before it repeats. Oh, there is a Kong.
I
Okay,
think he's 7.
yeah, he's hiding in there.
I'm
So-
gonna choose the T-Rex
I'm of
because
course,
I've got a big head and little arms.
I'm of course picking my sweet xenomorph because Ripley is my queen.
At.
Alrighty, make sure that you have your document open, that you're saving it regularly, that you have something to hydrate with, because the teapot is back, everybody, because we found more red chai. Woo! Very excited.
It's like, should I just send your package now and not wait for the last piece and just send that later?
Oh,
Because
so,
the people sending it to me still haven't gotten it from the printers yet.
so the thing about this red chai is it is the exact flavor that I want in this mix, and the company decided that they weren't going to make it anymore. And then because a lot of people like me cried and bitched and moaned, they've brought it back. So it's like this was literally a lost tea. It was taken away from me, and it is no longer gone. It is back, and I'm so happy.
I love that enough people liked it that they were like, oh, maybe we need to bring this back.
Yeah. So the new container is ghastly, but it's fine. Anywho, let's go ahead and get started on this sprint in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. I forgot to turn the music off. Rusty. Secret Kong! Secret invisible Kong that I wasn't sure is there wanted to prove to me that he was in fact there by winning the race.
And leaving then. He's like, I am here. Now I'm gone.
Fine, if you don't want me to be here, I'll just leave. So thank you for taking care of the bot.
My pleasure.
I don't know if I'm slow or if y'all are just super fast. I don't know which it is, but I'm like, oh no, it's gone. Okay. And I love that. I love that so much. Alrighty.
Had to go around and mute all my tabs.
So I got some writing done. This is the most effort I think I've ever put into something because it is intended to be poetic. So I can't just zero draft it. Like I'm not writing final draft first time, but like I have to like, okay, so how are we going to discuss this metaphorically? How are we going to do this, do that? Like it's a lot. It's a lot. Like I look at how many words I actually have written over the course of doing this thing, and I'm just like, just wait, no. How are there so few? Like I've been doing this for so long. There should be more. But yeah, the good news is there are 10 stages that I'm trying to write up, and I'm almost done with 6. So
Nice.
progress is happening, just not at the rate that I want. How did everybody else do?
Pretty good. I did dishes and then I started working on my essay and that went nowhere, but the dishes are almost done. Almost. I didn't quite finish. I was like, I'll just leave the top drawer for later.
When your writing is so hard, you find yourself going, I could do dishes next sprint. No, I'm going to get my homework done. I'm going to work on my homework.
I cooked hash
I
browns.
think I got about 75 words.
If I didn't
I
miss you
finished-
already, good night, CB.
Finished my food, and Joe came in and was talking news with me, and I'm like, go away. This is my outside world free zone. Why do you keep doing this?
Yeah, I've had to explain to Brian because I'll load up YouTube and we follow several news sources and commentary sources on there, and we'll be scrolling through and he'll see all these news videos that he wants to watch, and I'm just like, look, here's the thing, I've had my news consumption for the day. If you want to watch these, I can either go in the other room and watch something else, or you could go in the room and watch the other room and watch them. I can't right now. I just psychically cannot take this right now. I like having, I'm not unsubscribing because if something major happens, I want to know. So I'm still at least seeing like headline blips about things. So I'm not like full like head in the sand, which is kind of where I want to be, but that's not good either. So I'm not going there. But yeah, I get that. Like, because he gets very worked up, and of course he goes out and has to fight the Red Hat Brigade every day, and comes back with stories, and I'm just like, I really need the TLDR on this, or I'm gonna have a breakdown. Like, I don't like knowing that these people exist.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a fun world we live in. Did I mention that last Thursday I went to a seminar on why we should not have hope or hopelessness, that hope is a useless concept? It was held by an environmental activist, and he made some very valid points, but it was psychically destructive. It was,
Good to know we're screwed. I mean, I already figured we were screwed, but we screwed. I don't know.
yeah, my takeaway was twofold. One is way too long, and I'm not going to go into all that yet. But the other one is like I think we should just have the optimistic pessimism that I've lived my life with. I always expect the worst, and I am very pleasantly surprised when the worst doesn't happen. It makes life a series of happy surprises and not like a whole bunch of depressing letdowns. Like, okay, sure, we'll be extinct. That's fine. But if we're not, yay! Yay! Like if I live my full life without seeing human extinction, that's a huge win. I can go out happy. It's fine. But oh, he came with charts and graphs and numbers. It was not a happy time. It was not a happy time. Though, if you want to get through,
I agree with Eva. The hearings are amazing TV for me. I've been enjoying them, especially some of the commentary that has been pushing back against
Brian is
bad
also
actors.
having that experience. I feel like Padme Amidala in Revenge of the Sith. I'm just like, so this is how democracy dies, with ruckus applause. Like, yeah, yay. Like, I'm having a hard time not being Padme right now. I'm just saying, like, Padme is my life. I am Padme. Eventually, I'm going to die after giving birth to twins, which is awesome because I've always wanted to be a mother. So it's fine. It's fine. At least I know my future. And Brian will make a wonderful Darth Vader. Yeah.
Mhm.
Though, if you want a wonderful escape from this, I love some more news. And Cody Johnson's latest video on there is about the boar apocalypse that is going on. And while I know he does it as a bit, as somebody who's living in the middle of the boar apocalypse, like it's like I feel his frenetic energy with great zeal. Like, why aren't we doing anything about the boar? Like, why are we not doing this? And the fact that he's like the only news source that I've heard talk about the fact that like they've had to institute a curfew in Rome because of the pigs and the number of random pig attacks on people, like the number of people that have been savaged by pigs. There's literally a curfew in Rome. Like,
Wow.
the boar are taking over, people. I feel it. I highly recommend the video. It was very entertaining. It takes you through all the stages of grief, while also simultaneously talking about the Orange Man and January 6th and the environmental things that are going on. It is a journey, as Cody's videos are. But yes, why aren't we talking about the boar? They're everywhere, and they're getting bigger. Eurasian boar are not meant to be on this continent. They get to like 500 to 600 pounds in their native environment. They've been getting up to like 1,000 pounds here. These are like hippo rhinoceros-sized pigs. We don't need that. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm fine. We thought about going to the lake on my week off, but didn't because, of course, it was closed because the boar had taken over the beaches.
Oh man.
This is very present in my mind. The pigs, they're everywhere.
Did you hear that in Pamplona,
I see
at
Brian
the running
finally
of the bulls? At the running of the bulls, no one got gored and only 5 people got injured.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna do something that you know,
At least
don't get injured.
or at least chase a wheel of cheese down a very steep hill because it's fun to watch you tumble. It's not fun watching people get gored.
Also
but watching
cheese.
people tumble is just
Yeah.
race the cheese, not the bulls.
You know, I probably could get Caitlin to do that. She really likes cheese.
Where is it in England that they do that? Somewhere in England where they literally do that. They take a
I will
giant
look
wheel
it
of
up.
cheese and they roll it down a hill and people chase it.
Oh, no.
Like, it is a thing.
I don't know if they've done it recently, but it was like a long-standing tradition in a
The
town, maybe like
Coopersfield Cheese Rolling and Wake is an annual event held on the Springbank holiday at Cooper's Hill near Gloucester in England.
There it
Wow.
is.
um
It's a real thing. It's fun to watch.
there's a town maybe like half an hour from me, and there's a really steep incline on one of their roads. And around Halloween, the kids all get together and they roll pumpkins down the road, down the hill, and then they'll get on like sleds and stuff and slide down all the busted up pumpkin guts.
Well, that's something to do.
Yeah.
Sounds like a mess to clean up afterwards.
Yeah, people gripe about it every year.
So, okay, Spence, my way of dealing with living in the apocalypse, because let's face it, that's where we are. Like that is life. I'm not really fazed by it because it doesn't change my life much at all. Because I grew up food insecure, so I am used to that. I am used to, like, when I grew up, if we didn't shoot a squirrel, we didn't have meat. So, I know what that is like, and I'm not that afraid about it. The world itself is not going to end. It may like shake us off like a flea from a dog's back, but the world itself will be fine. And I think the vast majority of us are going to be fine. It's just all of the things that we have to struggle through between here and there. I really do believe that the human species has the ability to evolve its way out of this situation. It's not going to be easy. We are going to wait till it is quite literally too late. There will be storms. There will be fires. There will be all manner of terrible things going on. But the one thing about our species is we have survived several apocalypses already, one of which we don't even know what happened. We know that about 80 to 120,000 years ago, all of the humans on Earth were killed except for about 25,000 of us. We all died. We don't know why. We don't know if it was disease, if it was climate, what. We have no idea. All of a sudden, all the squirrels decided you look yummy and tried us out for a little bit. We don't know. But we made it through. We survived the Black Death. We find ways to get through. The real question we need to ask ourselves is, what are we going to be afterwards? And start building that now. See, the world that we have today exists in such dire straits because of the Black Death. It's hard for us to even wrap our head around the Black Plague. Between 1 and 2 out of 3 people died. When it came into your town, 1 or 2 out of 3 people died. Like that's unfathomable. Like, it's just, you can't wrap your head around that. Like, if that were to hit us and we were all in the same house, 1 or 2 of us would survive. The people that are on screen, just 1 or 2 of us. And it was random happenstance who it was. You never knew who it was. It was so random that we as a European folk, because it's also important to remember that this was mainly a European issue. While there were outbreaks of the Black Death in Asia, it never really hit Africa all that hard, and it just destroyed Europe. And that was because we thought that cats were the devil and kept killing cats so that there was nothing to kill the rats, and the rats had the fleas that were giving us the plague. Because we dumb. But that's why it hit Europe so hard. Now, our decisions were to say, nature bad, nature evil, I will control it and bend it to my will. And you see this huge change in rhetoric from before the Black Death to after the Black Death. And that's what got us to where we are now, where people in their hubris think that they can bend the natural forces of the world to their will. You can't. Planet big. Planet very big. If planet wants storm, planet will have storm. If planet decide, I don't care about your dam, river is going to be here. River is going to be there. We can do what we want to try to mitigate and mildly change our environment. The environment will have its way because it's bigger than us. And that's what we need to be building now, is our understanding of who do we want to be after this? What do we want to have after this? Which is why, even though I'm terrible with plants, I want to learn how to grow things. Because I think food insecurity may be a thing in the not too distant future, but also locally sourced is a big thing to me. Not having to have my food shipped in from all around the world is a big thing. So trying to learn how to get my gardens growing, how to grow tomatoes and potatoes. And we were growing mushrooms this winter, and it was amazing and it was magical. And just because it was just a block, and then the next morning, mushrooms. Like it was just like bing! Like it was magic and it was wonderful. But this is what we have to start thinking about now. Who do you want to be afterwards? What are we going to be on the other side of this? Because if we start building that now, we will get through. And that's what I would tell Pizza Demon. He, more than any of us here, because of his age, has the ability to actually make a change here and be that agent of change. I jokingly say the Zoomers will save us all, but the Zoomers will save us all because they know what their future looks like, and oldies like me have messed it up a lot. And people older than me messed it up even more than we did.
I'm really enjoying on TikTok finding out all the stuff my generation is doing. Gen Z are just like, we're going to take you down. We're not leaving our rooms to do it, though. We're just going to blast your shit all over the freaking internet. Guess what? You want to take away my mama's rights? We're going to take away your privacy.
Well, I mean, they did rule that you don't have privacy rights anymore. So, I mean, is what is.
So I remembered a thing that I posted on Tumblr. And I was like, which Tumblr did I post this on? I'm just going to read it because it's hilarious. And it like when you mentioned the thing about we tried to tame Mother Nature. So it's roommate. Don't you have feelings toward Mother Earth? Me, yes. She's beautiful and will murder us all when she feels like it. Roommate, yeah. Isn't she great? I aspire to be her. Because it's true. One day, Mother Earth will get tired of our shit, and she will just be like, goodbye.
Yeah.
To all of us.
Yeah, I've wondered about that because because we know that we had spread out of Africa to a lot of Asia and Europe, and then all of a sudden, all of those populations disappear. And there's a second migration out of Africa that is all very closely related to each other. Like it's an interesting question as to what happened.
I'm not laughing at that.
But yeah. And to so many other critters that have been here before. We've had many mass extinctions. Are we going to experience one now? Yes, we are in the middle of the Anthropocene mass extinction. It has started. We are in the middle of it. But while I'm not saying our lives will be exactly the way they are now, because we'll have to do things about like Bitcoin bros, because that is not sustainable in any way, shape, or form. Like those, they chew up so much power. If we can get people to realize, you know what, Zoom meetings are kind of annoying, but hey, isn't it amazing that I'm taking classes with people all over the world and we didn't have to fly to be in the same city?
Mm-hmm.
There are things
that accessible to people who it necessarily wouldn't be accessible to before, giving you even more ideas, entering into the collective consciousness of the people.
And that's what Michael Dowd was really talking about, is if we are living in a place where we're either hoping that we're going to fix things, then we are trying to mitigate a problem that is already happening. If we are living in a place where we are hopeless and don't think that we can change anything, then we're just going to let the powers that be continue, getting their profits and killing us off in large numbers as the climate crisis gets worse. We have to start asking, what are things going to look like after? What is the society we want to have after all of this? What do our houses look like? What do our families look like? How are we going to live going forward? And that is a much healthier question because, again, like I said, learning how to do this stuff now, we are setting up for the future. Because it's not going to be rapid. It's not going to be, this isn't, Hollywood has ruined the ideas of climate catastrophes because they show it like it's instantaneous. All of a sudden, everything's either on fire or frozen. That's not how any of this is going to actually break down. It's going to be like it is right now.
Burn or a long freeze.
This is one of the hottest summers we've had on record. The heat wave just isn't breaking. It mitigated for a couple days and it's back again. It is nightmare hot outside. And, we're going to have to start asking hard questions like, is it worth having people live in regions that are too hot to survive? Or is it worth... They're already asking these questions in Texas. There are places you cannot get even funds from the government if your house gets flooded because they basically flood every year. And the insurance companies and the government were just like, look, you move or you're on your own. Because we
will help you move.
Yeah, we will help you
We
move.
will not help you stay.
And, these are decisions we're going to have to start making. And we're going to have to start working together with the environment again. Like if we want to save, like every time I hear them talk about the drought here, I'm just like, yeah. And when I was a kid, there were beavers here. In fact, the place where I grew up was originally called Beaver Dam before it was incorporated into the city.
Oh, y'all had a beaver dam too?
And you know what beavers are really good at? Water management. They're very, very good at it. The problem that we have with them is they build on their own timetables and they don't really care about us. Though there is that guy in Canada who's learned how to trick beavers into building dams where we need them to be built. And it's really cool and it's kind of amazing. And that basically means we could have them do a lot of the waterworks construction for us. We can work with them. We can start learning how to bring rewild some of these areas. A lot of the wildfires that we have around here are because there used to be bison here. And you know what the bison would do? Trample everything down, wallow everything down, eat everything to the roots. And also keep all of the other life around here that kept the place kind of going. There are no bison around here anymore. All the leaf litter stays on the ground. All the trees keep growing and collapse, and nothing is taking care of them. And we're going to have to start learning how to live with nature again, start rewilding, which is not a happy thought. I don't like the idea of possibly looking out of my backyard and seeing a bison back there, or wanting to go check my mail and seeing a bison between me and the mailbox. That's a scary idea. I don't like it. They're big. They're kind of dumb. They're very aggressive. They're pretty. And I just kind of hope that they will eventually just move on so I can get my mail. But,
Your friend's a bunch of bison.
I have one member of my family that would probably do that. Like, I've literally been on a hike with her once, and there was a rattlesnake on the road. No, it wasn't a rattlesnake. It was a copperhead. And she just looked at it and she said, "We don't have time for you right now. Mosey, go, 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 go." And it stopped, looked up at her, cocked its head, and went the opposite way from us and just went away. And I'm just like, "Did you just tell the snake to go away?" She's like, "Yeah." Okay.
Listen.
I need you to sing just like a simple like la la la, and I need you to like hold your arms out. I need to see birds land on you. I have so many questions. Are you going to marry a prince someday? So many questions. Yeah. Oh, Nausicaa is that's a fun movie. Yeah. Yeah, we are officially in drought now here. So,
California is in a major drought too.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought California has just been in a drought for years.
It
For
was
about
most of
20
my life.
years.
Mhm.
For about the last 20 years, yeah.
yes, do not.
They would
pet
give us
the people.
schedules. You can only water your lawn these days of the week.
Yeah. That's very common. People don't really listen very well, though. It was
Nope.
even the city. My dad has a couple times had to call down to the city and be like, "Your sprinklers are going on in the little, the intersect the things in the middle of the road, where
Medians.
the trees, the medians where the trees and stuff grow." And they had the sprinklers going at the wrong time, and my dad was like, "You have the sprinklers. We're in a drought here. We can't be doing this." And he properly chastised them into changing their water schedule.
Your story with the snake, Charlie, reminded me we were camping, and my dad and I used to go fishing. My mom and my sister, well, my sister especially, couldn't sit still, and there was the one time she set our bait free. But anyway, so my mom and my sister had gone off to, there was an animal show at the little amphitheater at the campground. And so my dad and I were fishing, and we had our lanterns and radio and everything. And I had to go to the bathroom. While I was gone, Dad's just sitting there chilling, and he catches something out of the corner of his eye, and he sees a water snake. And he's like, eh. So he sets his pole down, steps back, and the dock was like half sunk into the lake. And the snake comes up and over the dock and then right back in. And once it was a clear distance away, my dad got his pole again. So he was telling my mom and sister about it when they came back. And apparently they must have been learning about snakes at the amphitheater, because my sister, she was like 6 at the time. She goes, "Did it have like cat slit eyes or round eyes? Because that's how you could tell it's poisonous." And my dad's like, "I don't care if it was passing out gold bars. I wasn't getting that close."
Hello, Precious. How are you doing today?
My dad went fishing one time, and he was just tossing his fish behind him, and then he heard a noise, and he looked back. There was a bear eating his fish.
Oh, man.
So my dad was like, "I'm just going to keep fishing and tossing fish back, but farther away a little bit at a time." Until the bear just, he was like, the bear was finally like, "I'm full," and he picked up a fish and left.
Yeah, we would go, there was this one spot we would go out. It was, I don't know, like 45 minutes, an hour away. And my dad would get like 4 dozen night crawlers from the bait shop. And the one time we took my sister with us, and we would last normally well into the afternoon fishing. And it wasn't even lunchtime yet, and we were almost done. And we're like, how are we going through bait that fast? And we got my sister taking a worm out, going to the edge of the woods and going, "Go, go, go." She didn't go with us. She was like 5.
I can't confirm the story because I was like 2, but my mother loves to tell when the topic of, "Oh yeah, Charlie was a handful" comes up, which is like often, like to tell the story of, apparently when I was 2, they were out working in the garden, and she looks over, and I'm sitting there squat down, and this copperhead is just inching its way in front of me, and I'm just sitting there petting the copperhead as it just goes across, and she's just like, "I didn't know what to do. It wasn't reacting, so I didn't want to like do anything that would cause it to strike, but it could strike." And apparently there's 2-year-old me just like, "Hi, little snakey," just like petting this. Like, I don't know, 2 years old.
As a toddler, because my sisters were scared. My one sister, like, we were fishing, and somehow my dad's boat's not that big, but when we were all little, we could, like, my dad, me, my two sisters, and my mom could all fit on it when we were little. But I caused my sisters and my mom to jump onto the front of the boat and the edges of the boat. The edges of the boat are only this big. Because I went, look! One hand had leeches just going, the other one had worms just going, and I'm just like, look! And my dad's just like fishing and he just feels the boat just, and there's my sisters and my mother standing up, and then he looks at me and is just like, give me those.
The funny part about my sister setting the bait free, when we were both taking classes at the community college, and she was taking some kind of environmental class, and she learned that certain types of like night crawlers are actually invasive species, and she's like, oh my god, I contributed to that. I'm like, you were 5. How would you have known?
I apparently was once very much an animal person, and no, I don't think you bummed anyone out. I think that these are things that we're going to have to get comfortable talking about, especially with everything going on. And I hope that my very matter-of-fact nature about it hasn't upset people, because I don't know, maybe it's just my anxiety issues talking, but I feel like I've lived inside the apocalypse my entire life. And, you know, this isn't appreciably different. So anxiety is anxiety, and yeah, is what is. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I hope you are doing well.
Okay, sure.
I can see this happening. It's one of your favorite memories. Yeah, I guess I don't know. Like I said, I have no proof that this actually happened. I don't know. Like, I was 2. I was 2, but we did grow up on a farm, and we did a lot of subsistence style farming. So, like, yeah, she would have had to have taken me out to be in the farm. So, like, all of this, the situation checks out. I cannot imagine a situation where I was ever like, ooh, snake. But because I am
tempting fate, even that.
I am mortally terrified of all Ophidians. So, like, yeah, I it's nice to know that there was a time when that fear was not in me, apparently. Like, it's nice to know, but yeah. Yeah, she's got a lot of fun stories thereabouts. And growing up on a farm is weird. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like,
I didn't even technically grow up on a farm because my dad works on a Christmas tree farm, and one of the Christmas tree fields was right behind the house I grew up in, the trailer I grew up in. And so, like, a lot of my memories before the era, like, most of them are in the tree field because we used to play in it. And then I would still occasionally go out there. I actually helped my dad set up the prep it for the irrigation system to go in. Like, my dad taught me how to drive the tractor, and he walked directly in front of me while I like 8 years old, was driving a tractor.
relatable.
But, like, he's like, I just had to take a step over and I'd be out of the way.
Yeah. For anybody new to the channel, just, like, I was raised in the 1850s and somehow got transported to this time. Like, I literally grew up learning how to cook on a Franklin pot-bellied wood stove, which has not served me well over time, because knowing exactly how much kindling and how many logs to put in so that you can boil spaghetti really doesn't help you out much in the modern world. It might in the postmodern world. This might be information that comes back. It is very useful, but it was a life. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Mom hated taking me to any body of water because I love swimming, but I don't like swimming on top of the water. So like I would go to the water and just bloop, and like occasionally shove my face up to get the oxygen and then immediately go back down. And she was always convinced that I had drowned. Always. Forever and
Most fun
always.
when we the first time we went to the Keys, we got a waterproof disposable camera. Yes, they still make those. They're very hard to find. Um, and my sister was like going was swimming and taking pictures of the reef underwater. We had so many pictures in the pool, and
Brian and I have talked about this, and I was just like, yeah, I I, I could see myself as one of like in an alternate universe, in a parallel universe where I did not hurt my back. There was probably a version of me that was on like Naked and Afraid or Alone or one of those. Like, I used to love being out in the woods. I used to love like all of that. And do you know what is not good for hiking? Back problems. Back problems and hiking do not go well together at all. They do not
can
match.
confirm.
Yeah. And so like I because Brian and I we watch a lot of those kinds of shows because that's who we are. And we've often had these conversations about because he remembers me from before I hurt my back because we got together before I hurt my back, and he has seen the changes that have come over time from pre-injury to post. And it's just like, yeah, if you had not hurt your back, you probably would have been on one of these shows or at least auditioned for them. I'm like, yeah, that probably would have happened because it is it it really really is. Alrighty, it is time for us to do another sprint because
Sprint, sprint.
I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. Alrighty, so it is time for us to say goodbye to our lovely friend Kong, who was hiding from us at the beginning, only to say, "No, I am here," and then promptly leave. Bye, Kong. Alrighty, we are down to just 10 racers, and I'm sticking
We're
with my
going with Stay Puffed.
T Rex. Yeah.
George, give me two.
Alrighty, everybody. Hopefully, you have been having a good time and getting some things done, but make sure that you are saving your work. Do not feed the gremlins. They are hungry. They are out there. I have already gotten 2 warnings that my cloud services have been interrupted and nothing can be backed up right now. So I don't know what's going on with the interwebs, but email yourself copies of things. It's good for you. And thanks to a recent Screenwriting Writers Guild win, if you email a document to yourself, that can be used as proof of copyright in lawsuits. So if you are concerned about, maintaining your rights on your things, maybe just do that as good hygiene so that you can prove when you actually did certain things. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get this sprint started in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
That did not feel like any length of time.
Yeah.
It felt like 5
Really?
minutes.
I was
Yeah, it
so
really, really did.
And I refilled my cup.
Took Roy outside, cooked pizza, started eating the pizza, picked up the package.
Pizza.
Also, I have a book count goal for books to own because 1,000 books is considered a library.
Oh,
I kind of want to count
that's
my
a goal.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I was watching this TikTok this lady did, and she was like, "I just found out that 1,000 books counts as a library." So then she immediately did it, like, and she counted it, and she needed 52 more books. Somebody sent her 52 books so that she would have a library.
Oh, wow.
I think more than one person might have sent her books.
Yeah,
Like,
but
only 52? Like, several people were like, I'd have to go binge buy a couple books. Because only 52?
So I have 7
I want to count my
bookcases in this house that I can think of off the top of my head.
You might
They range from 5 to 7 shelves on each one, and several of them are 2 books thick because I put risers in the back to make space for more books. That doesn't count the boxes of books that I rarely use that I keep in places. I wonder how many books I have.
I once had a library as a kid. Like, I counted all my books, and I definitely had over 1,000.
I know. Well, my mom just got rid of like 5 big cardboard boxes of all of my dad's religious books.
Oh, I probably would have paid for those. Add to my collection.
Well, she donated some to the seminary. There's a guy who went to school with was in the same class, I think, or maybe the year after with Bestie, and even in high school we all called him Father Robbie because he knew from like childhood he was going to be a priest, and so gave him some, and some she sold on eBay, and
Sorry, I just got very self-conscious when you said that. Don't get into a shouting match with a bishop, kids, if you want to be a priest. It's not good for your career. Don't do it. But do it if they deserve it. And he deserved it. But I have no regrets. Not a
Eva
single
probably
one.
has a library. Eva, you should count your books.
What?
We all need to count our books now. All of us just
mine with
randomly
Anna
do a video.
because she has
Here,
more than
something
I
about-
do.
I know I don't have enough to qualify right now. It's very sad. I got rid of most of my books, and
I really
my boyfriend thinks I have too many as it is.
see if you add comics into this,
They count.
I have 7
Like-
shelves.
because I've got boxes and shelves of comics as well. So
Nice.
yeah, I may have a life. My friend Lily often refers to my house as the library,
Nice.
and she borrows quite a few books and sometimes returns them. Oh, very careful about what I loan out to her. Oh,
I really wanted to get one. I remember, what was it in? There was a thing that you could get your own like personal librarian kit, and it actually had like a little dunk and the checkout cards and the. You're checking my
Nice.
book out. You will return it.
I'm struggling so hard not to go count books right now, like, because if I could just count like how many books are on a shelf, I could do some rough math.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I am not.
If I could get to Missouri, I would count all your books for you.
You're not doing the math till the sprint.
Well, even then, because I'm almost done. I'm almost finished homework. I've almost finished my.
Okay.
Finish your homework first, then count.
So close. So close. I'm just so many books. I have so many books. It's not even funny. Like, we literally have sections like this is the Buddhist section, and this is like it's all broken up. Like we had to
little
divide up
shelf
my
right
myth.
here, and then some of my desk is all of my writing books, so they're like within easy reach. And then I've got my manga in the bedroom, most of my fiction on the shelf in the corner.
Yeah, we had to divide up. I didn't even count the bookcases that are behind my desk in the other room, because there are 2 bookcases behind the desk in my office,
Yeah.
and they have books on them too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have.
I'm pretty sure you have a library.
I'm pretty sure I
right?
have a library.
I'd be surprised if you didn't have a library. That's what I would.
The fact that we had to sort my mythology books into sections, because I have so many Celtic mythology books and
I
Greco-Roman
really do want to come to
mythology
your
books
house just to
and
take a look at
African
your
mythology books.
Right?
I have a small collection of Romani folk tales and mythology books because I am obsessed. Yeah, I have.
Charlie, can I just take a vacation to your house? To read your books.
And then I want to go eat at the restaurant. Like,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
just check out your books and then go
I'll sleep in a
over
chair.
to the restaurant, eat some food.
I have 3 vampiric cats and a very lovey dog. So
Oh, I'm sure I'll get along with the cats.
All of the pet scritches.
I'm allergic to cats, so that'll be interesting, but I'm still willing to do it.
yeah, I have.
You get to
quite a
stay
few.
in the office.
This is one of the reasons why.
Megan
I
will be
keep-
loopy off Benadryl.
this is why I keep trying to do this project, because I want to get rid of a bunch of books, because there's a bunch of, especially like my writing craft books, I don't need anymore. I'm never going to reread them. I know which ones I go back to and revisit, and which ones are worth like giving away, and which ones just need a good warm fire, because they're barely worth the energy you would get out of them for printing them. Like they're just.
Yeah.
We've all read those craft books. They're like, oh, you needed to make some quick money and slap something together. But every time I go to start doing it, like, there's so many. It's so much. So,
Huh? Would it also count ebooks?
oh, and if you count ebooks, I don't even.
If we count ebooks, I have a library, that's for sure.
And audiobooks.
Like a ebook is a
I'm
book.
addicted
An
to
audiobook
free
is a book.
ebooks on Amazon.
count.
Like,
They're counted at an actual library,
Mm-hmm.
so they should count in your personal library.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still show numbers? Okay, so
plus, I have all the books on my Kindle from when I used to be a book reviewer. Some of them I haven't reviewed yet. I have some really great trans books that I didn't realize I had until I went back a few days ago and was looking at all the books I have. I'm very interested to read them.
How many books do I have on my Kindle?
I'm sorry. This is one bit of math I can do. Where is my phone? There we go. I have 599 audiobooks in my Audible
Okay, you
library.
for sure have a library.
Yeah.
Just in my, because it tells you there are 20 books per page. There are 25 pages. I counted how many were on the last page. There's only 19 on the last page. So I have 499 audiobooks. That's not counting what's in my Kindle, and that's not counting what I have in actual physical books. Like, you don't even want to know how many books are in arm's reach of me right now, because right here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 just right there that I'm using for class right now.
I have 151 books on my Kindle. That's just the Kindle books.
Mhm.
And then,
So yeah, there's no way I do not have a library at this point.
oh, you certainly do. I still want to know how many. Can I spend that month at your house? I will catalog your books
Oh, you will go into nightmare fuel territory, because
just
one
so that I can see them all.
Catalog for food.
I don't know if it's on my Instagram or not because I don't think Instagram existed. Oh, I'm so old. When I did it, but I got into an argument with somebody who said that I didn't know anything about Dragonlance. So I literally laid out all of my Dragonlance books and took a picture of them because I have like the first 20 years of Dragonlance books.
Oh, wow.
And that's just my Dragonlance shelf. Like, don't tell me I don't know the setting. Like, I'm friends with one of the writers, okay? Like, I know Tracy Hickman.
I also
Like,
need to check my Nook. Yeah.
I have discussed Raceland's motivations with the person who created Raceland, okay? I think I know my stuff. But, by the way, that's why going to conventions is really good because, well, I don't know that Terry Goodkind would like me if he knew too much about me because I think he's fairly conservative. Fun conversations have been had. Let's see. There it is. That's where it starts. I need an opinion from someone not on migraine meds. Okay. So ADA Joan Hannah meets. Okay. See. I love how we both have stories where death saves people's lives. I rather enjoy this. Anyway,
495 total between Kindle, Audible, Nook, plus my spreadsheet that I had from when I inventoried my books. But I've added books since then, so this actually
So you're like halfway there?
I do need to organize my books.
oh, and there's the books that are back in the sanctuary room. I have so many books.
Yeah, you definitely have a library.
Yeah, we had two spare bedrooms in this house, so we just turned one into a little private chapel. That's where all my statues and relics are. I don't know why she wouldn't date him. This is a very good question, Maggie.
Because she suspects him of murder?
I mean, that could be a thing.
Because she probably thinks he's a serial killer?
Yeah.
I have a friend who has some of the greatest powers of denial in the world. Like, look, I'm not saying that people have to believe in spooky things. Do you, boo? But he would go out with us on these trips where, I mean, horrific and nightmarish things would happen that would give H.P. Lovecraft the night sweats. And then the next day would be like, man, we should have hung out yesterday. Like, complete blank denial. Like, it did not. What did you do this weekend? I was like, you were with us. We went to Pennsylvania. Remember the thing? No, I was home all weekend. No, you weren't. No. You were with us. We were in Pennsylvania all week. Was I? You drove the car. We all got into your car because you had the biggest car, and you drove us there, and you drove us. You were with us all weekend. So I mean, the powers of denial. Never doubt the power of human denial. Like, he was there the day with Drew and the thing, and the so much blood. And he still like denied it all.
Oh yeah, I definitely need to update this. Where are your women is on this? It should be.
I like it. It makes me want to get back to actual fiction writing, which is something I have not been doing because class. Though I have written so many essays. So many I didn't even have to write. Just I needed to get thoughts out of my head. Like I wrote a whole like 2,000 words the other day on the nature of language and its possible metaphorical uses because it wouldn't leave me alone, and I just had to write it down to get out of my head. So
Maybe you should just release a book called My Random Essays. Of all
Actually-
these random essays you do to empty your brain.
so much of the stuff is all themed around the same thing that I am probably going to end up putting out a nonfiction book, editing them together because they're all themed around the same topics. So
I reject
Yes.
your reality and substitute my own.
very much like when Buffy came out and they were like, how do people not understand that there are monsters? And they're like, oh, denial. I was like, yes, I've seen this. I know this person. I know them all too well.
I've been in their car.
I've been in their car. I was in his car the day that we almost got flipped over in the tunnel because we were doing the thing to see if the ghost would shake the door handles, and Queenie in the back seat kept yelling when the car doorknob started shaking, and the car actually went up on two wheels at one point, banged down, went up on two wheels on the other side, and luckily the car was started on the way back down, and we just drove away. And he's still like, I wish something spooky would happen to me. And I'm just like, you cannot deny these things. There are other human beings there. Other human beings saw this. I am not the delusional one here. And then I would hunt down Queenie and be like, Queenie, did you remember the thing? She was just like, and he was just like, yeah. And I was going to beat it in the face if it tried to get into the car. And I'm just like, it's like, ghost, Queenie. You can't hit a ghost in the face. Oh, bitch, I can try. It's like, there's a reason we call Queenie. One, because we knew like 12 atoms at the time and we needed nicknames to tell them apart. And he was such a flaming queen. Like, you had to be careful not to let him sit near anything too dry. Like, just... Oh. Like, he
Spontaneous
was
combustion.
fascinating. He was fascinating. But yeah, you've never lived it, so you have a person like that screaming that they're going to kill a ghost dead in your car while really weird things are happening around you. Like,
But
this
it's
is,
already dead.
yeah, but getting him to understand this is like,
Stop that, princess.
Also, random question. Would the guidebooks in all my tarot sets also count as books?
ooh, that's an
Probably.
interesting question.
I mean, I'd say so. Come on. Oh, from under there. Yeah, thanks.
Because then there's
If
at
you-
least 15 right there.
Because see, at that point, you're just arguing over whether or not what a book is based off of word count.
But
Because
no,
they
the all would count.
are
Some of those
bound
books count.
together. So
Someone's hungry.
They're hungry.
oh, fiction writing, how I miss you. Yes. You don't know how happy I was that I got to spend like a whole day putting together that article on the ship. That is so dumb, but I love it.
I'm pretty sure that entire shelf of books.
Hey, Popper.
Hey! They can hear us.
Oh, okay. So the one and only time, it wasn't once, it was like 3 times, but the 3 and only 3 times in my life that literally should have been like soundtrack with banjo music all revolved us going through Thermont with Queenie in the back seat and him deciding to yell at a Klan rally. And you know what? They will all get in their trucks and shoot shotguns at you while they chase you through the woods. Can confirm. Really should have had banjo music in the background, like really needed banjo music. It would have been a lot funnier. And somehow he didn't get shot because he literally hung out the window, constantly taunting them. as they chased us through the
What
woods.
kind of a guardian angel does Queenie have?
A
Can
very
we borrow
tired
that?
Tired.
They need a vacation.
like
Maybe
pretty-
they have several.
he would have to.
They keep
So-
being like, I'm retiring. Somebody else.
The one day, in his honor, I will have a villain in one of my stories named Nestor. Because that was what he thought was the most insulting word you could ever call someone, was Nestor.
That's funny. That's like the name of my doctor's office.
I'm gonna get you, Nestor! Like, oh, just the top of his lungs. People wonder why I'm like amazed I lived as long as I have. See stories.
I will feed you in just a bit. Calm down.
Sorry, there are cars slowly going up and down the road, and I think it's because the neighbors are coming in and out a lot, and they have to stop because they're pulling in and out of their driveway. But after the midnight pier, I'm like all nervous about cars moving slowly in front of my house. Why did you pee on my roof? Why right in front of the house? Why right in front of the house? Like if you just went like slightly down, it's forest. The forest is right there. Sorry, I'm fine. I'm not going back there. All right, let's do a sprint, shall we?
Sprint time.
Hopefully, I will finish my class project this spring.
Woo.
That would be amazing. Hopefully. Alrighty, let us say a goodbye to Gojira, our sweet, sweet king of the monsters. Goodbye. I am going to stick with my Xenomorph, even though I really have a problem with the Xenomorph that they picked because that's technically a deacon and not like the OG Chuck from the original movie because of the pointed head. But I get that they're trying to like avoid copyright issues, but they went from one to another because there's so many Xenomorphs, and I did not like Prometheus. But that's technically a deacon. Yes. I need to get back to writing sci-fi. Can you tell? It's a problem. Anyway, let's
go spook myself with these creepy drawings from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
I have that somewhere.
I've never read it.
That's surprising.
That is.
Wait, is that book just the one set or is it all three sets?
It's just the first set. I'm saving up to buy the other two sets.
I have a proper like set thing. If I had the money, I would send them to you.
Alrighty, let us go ahead and get started on this print so I can hopefully get done with my class project and have time to do other things until after Thursday when we'll probably be given more homework because that's how my life is right now.
T-Rex.
3, 2, 1, go!
What a fast hyena dog thing.
Sure. I was watching TikTok.
I was backing up because I'm done. I finished it. I was making a backup.
Yay!
I'm losing. Because I am done. I have finished it. It is done. I even had time to read through the whole thing and liked it. Yeah, I believe that's supposed to be the wolf from Rampage, which had a
I'm
name.
familiar with that.
It had a name, but I can't remember it right now. Because the white gorilla is definitely George from those games. But I can't remember the name of the wolf, which is bothering me slightly.
So, Carrie, speaking of names, Aldo is the name of my grandma's cousin, who I grew up speaking to, and he lived in Italy and stuff like that. So you said
Oh.
Italian pizza or a pizza buffet, and I was like, "Ooh, well, this is an Italian name, very Italian name that would work well."
I
Ralph. The wolf's name's Ralph.
Ralph.
I called it Aldo's Pizza Palace.
Ooh, nice.
And then I wrote it down in the world building section in my notebook, so
Yeah.
don't forget it.
He used to be a translator for the Italian military, and so he knew like he was fluent in 9 languages.
Nice.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's the
I've wanted to learn as many languages as him for a while now, but I am not as quick to adopt as he was.
My
Like,
great grandmother could speak and write fluently in 7 languages, and she worked in a hospital, I guess. And when computers got fully implemented, and they told her, "You have to use this," and so she's like, "Fine," and she took all the manuals home with her over the weekend, and when she returned, she could work the computer.
wow,
Nice.
that's impressive because those things are not easy to.
And I'm just like, I wish I had gotten to meet her.
Yeah.
She is a beast. She was a beast of a woman, like in her knowledge and her like gall. They told her cats were gonna kill her, and she's like, "So?" She was highly allergic to cats. And do you know what she had? She apparently had a big white fluffy cat. She was like, "So it's my cat. It's not leaving."
all cats are going to kill us eventually. That's their
So-
purpose in life.
I need to head out because we are going to the bookstore and I need to get ready for that and stuff. So
Awesome.
I will see you guys later, probably tomorrow.
Enjoy.
And have fun with the rest of the stream.
Have the fun at the bookstore.
I will.
Share pictures of all that you bring back with you.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, I'm desperately looking for language buddies because the one problem that I'm having learning languages now is I don't have anyone to practice with. And I know from a practical experience that immersion is the best way to get me to learn a language. When I learned both German and especially Russian, like my Russian teacher did not speak English at all to me for the first year I had her. Immersion really helps. And I've been trying to find podcasts, but it's not the same.
I remember being in Spanish class and the teacher had no English signs all over the room.
Like my Japanese is still really bad, but I am happy that we will be watching something and I will hear a phrase and not even think about looking down at the translation because I recognized it, and that makes me ever so happy. And also every now and then I can read the signs, and I get way too proud of myself for being able to do like a simple thing. But this is my great Herculean task. 5 years I've been working on trying to learn Japanese. 5.
You can do it. So in my high school, um, the Spanish teacher also taught English. She was one of the main English teachers, and she also taught Spanish. And it was just like,
See, to make things worse, she was a social studies teacher. And so during those classes, she would speak to everyone in English except the students that she had for Russian. She committed to this. And like she would, after the conversation with the student, she would translate for the rest of the class. But she was committed to this. Like, no, if you are going to learn this, it's immersion. You're not going to, I am not speaking to you specifically in the English. It worked. It worked. We got fluent very, very quickly. In 3 years, we covered, I think, 6 years of language study in 3 years. So it worked really, really well. But
So
I have done
I'm
this.
getting inspired. I want to write a kids one. After I publish my Tiny Shivers, I want to do a kids one. But most of the scares, it seems, comes from the illustrations.
Hands up, and anyone in chat, just use the hand emoji if you are surprised that Laura got a story idea from something.
No, not a story, a collection idea.
Okay, even more. Is anyone raise your hand if you're surprised that Laura went, I'm going to be the most prolific writer in AuthorTube and have an idea for a collection of stories because of something else. Any hands? Do I see any hands? Any hands?
Yes, Unis honest. But yeah, okay, so like most of the scare for these come from the super awesome illustrations. But
That's when you recruit Charlie.
like
Wait, what?
I don't I can draw, but like not to this level, I don't think. So I was doing some of the researches on the Fivers. So I shared a screen. This is one that I found that I like. This is fine. Do you want to share the screen?
Charlie, are you going to click the button or should I?
Hi. There's a button.
Yeah, share the screen.
Oh,
I'm doing it. I did it.
I'm stupid. I've done this for a week and it feels like
I'm
forever.
causing the mischief
I'm like,
and then started to die.
I got
Look at this illustration style. This one's pretty cool. So this
That's
one
amazing.
I've hearted. Like,
Okay.
That's amazing.
and then the other one that I like is this one.
That reminds me of the work of my friend Kim. Kim Crest Tattoos on Instagram, I believe.
Are you going to share the screen or am I?
I'm getting better. I'm not completely broken yet.
Wow,
kinda.
wow.
That reminds me of my friend Tarek, who I cannot remember his Instagram to save my life.
Like these are some decent horror children's illustration styles. But I can't find one with watercolor, so it's more abstract. So, like, I want to go with one of these types of thingies. Try and up my watercolor game and do it myself. Like, because there would be a lot of illustrations for a kid's book anthology versus the adult one.
As somebody who does way too many illustrations because I have a world anvil problem.
Mm-hmm.
If you figure out how you want to do things, you can systematize a lot of your creative process to make it quicker. Like there are things that you can do. It's not entirely fast because I mean we all have addictions. Just some addictions. Not saying to what at all, but you know.
You didn't have to. The music said it all.
But I mean, there are things that you can do to speed yourself up. But
Watercolor.
Okay, so
Watercolor.
you have the original art, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Which story is that?
The Haunted House.
Okay. Because I got this at a Scholastic book fair. So this one's a lot more cute.
This one is Harper and Collins. Drawings by Stephen Gamble.
So
So
my
these
illustrations
are
are by
their
Brett
settings.
Hellquist.
Okay. These are the illustrations I grew up seeing as a kid and scared me away from these books.
Okay. So this
Spence
is the
is
one
amazing at the watercolor.
in
Yes.
mine.
That's a very different picture.
Very different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like this one better.
Yeah, that one's much more scary.
Yeah,
That is
Laura's
much more
copy is
scary.
more what I grew up with.
So, Laura,
Yes.
since y'all were taking over, I just feel like,
Interrogation time.
yes, interrogation time.
So, if anybody wants to hit me up for the artisticiness, hit me up. I want to write a children's horror collection.
You've shown me some of Josh's pictures, and yes, you should. You should. Because, yes. That is a connection that should be made. Yes.
Yeah, these ones
I-
are way.
I agree with
actually
this.
like your horror ones better. They're much cooler than these ones.
This guy is still alive, but I cannot find a way to contact them or to hire them or anything. So,
Also, I have this my books all match though.
ooh, nice.
So it's cute and tiny as hell.
I really hate to give Amazon ideas on how they can steal more money from people so that he can have more knob rockets. But if they gave us the ability to sell our print books with variant covers,
Mm-hmm.
Damn it! You said the word.
do you know how many people would buy multiple copies of each book
Mm-hmm.
just to have all of the possible covers? Because I realized how hard that would be back when the original collection for Fate's Harrow came out, because we got down to 3 candidates for the cover, and I really liked all 3. And when I put it up to a vote to the podcast audience at the time, they came in literally tied. And I looked and looked and looked, and the amount of expense I would have had to have put out, because I would have had to have gone not to a POD, I would have to actually have them printed and ship them.
Right.
Um,
That's where you Kickstarter, so you know how many to print.
yeah, I'm old, and there was not a Kickstarter then,
Yeah.
because I don't even want to think of how old some of you were when the first Fate's Horror story came out. Like, I really. So the first Fate's Horror story came out. What was that? 2002, I think, was the first Fate's Horror story. So that would have been what, 20 years ago?
I was graduating high school.
So
That was cool.
I was gonna say the youngins are here and here.
yeah,
Get all mixed around.
not here, not here. At all.
Ooh, Spence, are they Prodigal Inc.? Because I may have stalked you on Instagram and see who you are following and sort of been my Josh.
That's a good way to do it.
Oh, that's great. That that should not have made me lightheaded. That should. Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Oh,
Oh my. If I had a memory, I could probably remember, because she told me what it was, and my brain.
Look at the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes, that's it. Because I remember being shown that one.
that is cool.
So cool.
Oh my gosh.
I really do need to organize my
And
books.
confirmed
Those
from
health
Spence.
records, I just throw them up here.
Yeah, he is very good. And if I had the funding, I have some pieces I would really love to get made because I love that art style. And especially for the vampire stories I want to do, I'm hoping that by the time I get around to actually putting them out, I will have money to hire him and artists of that kind to make them because I know what I want them to look like.
So I've been needing to put a hold on Tiny Shivers and stop adding to it. So it's already at 60K. So,
Tell me more.
so I have 3 short stories in the works, plus a gothic flash that I want to write. But I need to save some of these for the sequel. It's like,
I was gonna say volume 2.
I know, but like, children's. I have one children's short story that was accepted to a charity anthology, which is basically the middle chapter from Seeds of Doubt. And so I expanded it into Seeds of Doubt. And it's like, I could like add that one in there. I made a short story version of the sequel to Seeds of Doubt, Cracks of Fear. I could put that one in there. Like,
So this is where the old cliche really needs to be hammered home. You will never be finished. It will just escape. It will just escape. And one day you'll be like, oh, other people can read that now. Oh, okay then.
going to Jace August 1st for
So
developmental edits. So I need to be done adding by August 1st. But then it's not going to the copy editor until November. So I have a few months to incorporate the notes.
that's your hard cutoff because once you've gone into developmental edits, it would be extremely ingracious and rude to be like, well, I also added like 20 more stories to this thing. So you have a cutoff date, which is a
Yes.
very good thing to give yourself.
Yes.
Often why I give myself a chapter limit when I start writing a book, I say this book's going to have this many chapters and done.
Yeah.
And make myself stick to it. The story has to conclude by then. And that may or may not be good for the art, but it's good for the publication. It's how stuff actually comes out, except for when I don't release stuff because I have so many finished things on my hard drive. So many finished things on my hard drive. Oh,
How many stories are in here now? I don't even know.
that's a
I
problem.
really just want to be like, do I just need to come to your house and do I, 1, go through your books, 2, go through your books you've written and be like, okay, you publish this now. I
Yeah,
sit here while you start the process.
I have sent out to a couple people Crucify, which is the first book in the trilogy that is finished. Like these are 3 76K books that are just done. They're done. They're just sitting there. I sent those out to a couple people. I don't remember who because I'm bad at things and I'm hoping that I wrote it down somewhere. I need to get my Story Origin account back.
Okay.
That's what I need so I can keep track of all those.
There's 105 stories in this collection.
I think you're done.
Yeah.
But I wanted 2 more little ones for the Gothic because I only have 2 short stories for Gothic. And so I'm like, I need to break it up with some little ones. But my little one evolved.
It's okay. There could be a volume 2.
And 3 and 12 and 175 and
Yeah.
They're going to be coming out on a 6-month basis.
feels like it, doesn't it?
with at the rate you write,
So
like every couple months. Here, Jace.
I have been encouraging
Keep
people.
space on retainer for you.
Right?
Oh, if I could have Jace on retainer, I've actually asked him how much would it cost to just have you on retainer. I've asked this, and so far he has not come back to me with a number. I think because he's afraid I will find a way to make number happen. I don't know, but I keep pressing. Like, how much would this cost? So I can just be like, here's stuff. Nah. 'Cause that's what I want in life, is just editors that I can be like, I don't know. I think done.
I just want to be able to like pick his brain. Like, I'm stuck. Help.
He's very, very good with that.
My first illustrator too. Dang it.
Because of
Yeah,
life.
when we did our video chat for my developmental outlet, we were talking for like an hour and a half for
when
this
we
little
were
30K.
when we were collaborating on the vampire stuff, which hopefully our lives will realign in such a way that we can get back to doing that, because that was so much fun. He made those stories in that setting so much better, because he can spot an inconsistency, an error, or a "Are you sure about that?" Which I don't know what those are called. I call them Charlieisms, because usually, unfortunately, yes, I'm quite sure. Yeah, it's going to be that dumb, because I am me.
And me is awesome.
I've been catching, like, my friend Ray, who did the line edits, caught a lot of like little things like that, like the possible love interest she calls him, I think, and it's like, oh, how did she get his number? And like those little details that I just kind of, how does she know about this person? You've never mentioned him before. Random character.
Yeah, my biggest problem is, okay, so I know that in book 5 this thing's going to happen, and so I need to make sure that the thing doesn't spontaneously pop into existence, because I know where it is and they're going to be like right where the thing is going to happen. So I need to mention it now to seed it for later, just so that when people reread or something, they go, oh my goodness, that was there from the beginning. Like,
I'm planting seeds for something that happens in book 4.
And it's so he likes to get after me for that,
Look
because
at this painting.
Wow.
So that's the same one that did this one. But yeah, like, yes, please.
Okay, so that's who I want helping me with some of my sci-fi stuff, because, well, not completely Giger-esque, like adjacent.
Yeah. I need the monies.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so here's what you need to do. You need to finish the short story book so that you can hopefully get some money from it.
And
I
speaking
gotta
of,
pour more money into it first with all the editing and the last 4 illustrations.
Speaking of the monies, I have been encouraging people to, if those gracious ones of you who have been keeping me in Hook Theory so I can make music, like for those of you who are still donating to me in various places, like a lot of it is you're fueling and funding my music addiction. So
Please say it's your fault.
Well, actually, it kind of is. Like, if you're tired of me making music and want that to like,
No.
that's where the money is coming from to pay for those tools. Because, oh my goodness, I've almost made like $20 off the music, and I'm like freaking out because that's a lot of plays. That's a lot of plays, y'all. That's fractions of pennies, like fractions of pennies. Like it's not even like a tenth of a
Wish
penny.
you had thumbs. You could
So
bring
little.
me your toy.
But I've been encouraging people to move over to either the Coffee or the Patreon, because the way I'm going to get to published is I'm just going to start throwing up chapters over there. Like, people are going to be getting stuff there. They're going to be getting it there first. and really pushing for that because then I have the guilt trip of needing to get stuff up. Will keep me rising.
You said coffee and Patreon?
Yeah, I'm going to send it to both Coffee and Patreon because while I prefer Coffee, for various reasons as a creator, they take far less of your money than Patreon does. Their cut is a lot smaller than Patreon, so more of the support actually goes to the creator, which is a very good thing. I have a few people that are not going to leave Patreon, and they have told me this. So I'm not closing my Patreon because they're very gracious and I love them. So I will continue to have the both. They will be in sync to the best of my ability. But yeah, I'm going to be putting the stories out those wise. You will also be getting some new stuff from me that I'm not going to announce yet. But there's exciting things on the horizon that will be exclusive. That early access will be arriving there. So, plus, you get VIP backstage to all of my worlds on World Anvil, which occasionally means really long, boring diatribes of me going on and on and on about why I made a thing.
Well, Plot Bunny is fully up on my coffee. I started... a chapter went up every single day for supporters.
But yeah, some of the stuff that I'm working on now, like especially now that I have the model for the ship, I have assets that I can use for several of the characters. I'll be able to get a lot more art done. I'm going to be focusing a lot on the sci-fi stuff because I've learned I have a rhythm. If y'all haven't noticed, if you haven't been following me for that long, spring and summer, I tend to be very sci-fi minded. Starting in fall and winter, I get very fantasy minded.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So my fiction kind of flops back and forth. I'm working on the sci-fi stuff right now, which there are books that will be released soon. I'm also going to be putting up all of my old books there as well. So for anybody who wants to get like my entire collection, I'm not going to do the evil thing where you have to be subscribed for so many months to get a copy of something. They're just going to be there to download for anybody who wants them. So there's that. But yeah, I am not interested in doing a lot of that kind of marketing right now. Like just buy my book. Like it's I don't have the energy. I just don't. Though I do probably still have that bumper. Are you still there? Do you still exist? Un momento, por favor. I need to see if I have a thing, because if I do, I'm going to be obnoxious for a moment. Hello.
Be obnoxious. Be obnoxious.
So I might be making some tiers now on Ko-fi as we speak. Because I have none.
Mine all
Yeah, I still have
have
to
the
do that.
same value. They're just varying amounts of money.
So I'm thinking of posting a Drabble exclusively to there every month. Ooh, for exclusive content, because
I do have it on this computer. Oh my goodness. So back in the early days of the podcast, when we fancied ourselves more a radio show, because problematic is who we are, we had a lot of different bumpers and stuff to play because radio show. And the one that I keep making reference to is one that nobody here knows.
Buy
So
my book! Buy my book! Buy my book! Buy my book!
which is a quote from The Critic, which is one of my absolute favorite shows. And so every time we started talking about my books,
Buy
Brian
my
would play
book. Buy my book!
in the background. I still have all the bumpers on this computer. I didn't know that. Alrighty, we have gone a bit over because I'm not paying attention to time. Because, I mean, it is just a persistent illusion after all.
Time is made up.
Alrighty, let me grab Devin's playlist for the day because I think they're actually
Spence, can I recommend
everything
a
is
world
pretty much well right now.
you could do your world building and have short stories.
And you could talk to me about that.
Or me. We both sages.
So there is a link to Devin's playlist for the day. Pretty much all but one of the streams that are going to be continuing are currently streaming right now at this second, and then there's one that hasn't started yet. So there's a plethora of choices if you are looking for a place to go. Does anybody have anything that they would like to say before we run away?
I'm actually posting things.
Go
So,
check out my
like-
video.
Woo, check all our stuff. But like,
It's my announcements of my acceptance into Lovecraftiana again.
Which is awesome. Alrighty then. I will not be at the beginning of the stream tomorrow over on Twitch. Brian will be taking care of that, but I will show up sometime after class. And Friday we will be doing something over on the Twitch. I don't know what. I would like to say productivity because I have so many things I want to be doing. But as per usual, we will see. We will see what that becomes.
your mental health shall decide.
Yeah, I may or may
Play
not.
Dungeons of the Endless.
We may play Dungeons of the Endless. I may or may not have gotten Power Wash Simulator. Yeah. I have a problem. Y'all. Anyway, have the fun. Bye.